Alright, well hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to a playthrough of Mario Kart Super Circuit on GBA, but specifically on Switch Online. I've never done a playthrough of this game before, and I don't think I've ever 100% of this game, so we'll see what we can do here. I'm gonna try to do all the cups, and yeah, see what we can do here. So first we got Peach's Circuit. I was never that good at this game, and this is also technically my least favorite Mario Kart, but I mean, you know, we'll see what we can do here. I mean it's a terrible game, you know, to the full extent or whatnot. It's just, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of this one in the original, just because the controls, you know, feel a little dated to me, but I mean, it's probably also because I didn't technically grow up with these per se. Like, I played these like after I had already played my favorite ones, which are Kart DS, Kart Wii, and Double Dash, you know, and so this was kind of just like, you know, different altogether. I knew these aren't too different from like, or this one specifically isn't. It's kind of almost like a hybrid between what's it called, the original and Kart 64. I think more so like the character visuals and type of character from Mario Kart 64, but obviously this whole like 2D 3D thing they got going on with the tracks because of limitations, of course. Yeah, I think this will be the last GBA game we'll do a playthrough on, at least until, you know, either like some Pokemon or more of the more advanced games start coming out. What's it called? Yeah, whenever that happens, then I'll definitely be doing playthroughs of those. And next we got Shy Guy Beach, which I played a bit on Mario Kart Wii, of course. Also not the best when it comes to the boost in these older games, so probably won't be seeing too many of those from me. I think these games also were tougher when it came to trying to get boosts or whatnot. I don't use the same method a lot of people use, which is the hold after 2. I always did the one that they taught me back when I was a, you know, kid in school, the whole hold a little bit in between, you know, the numbers, so tiny bit on 3, tiny bit on 2, and then, or tiny bit on 2, and then 1, just like hold it down all the way. Yeah, I've sort of seen some things online about this game of how it's a little cheap when it comes to the way it, I guess, what's that called, treats players depending on like their, you know, choice in character, and also the, you know, rubber banding or whatnot, which I guess you could say was in a lot of the Mario Kart games, where it's like the whole mechanic where, you know, it's not actually keeping live track of the, you know, CPUs and stuff like that. They're kind of just like, you know, positioned in a weird way to where they're gonna eventually catch up. Not really noticeable now on these CCs, but on the later ones it'll become more apparent. But then the other thing is the point system, so especially for getting star rankings. So I know in the later games it became way easier to get star rankings and stuff like that, but in this game, which was the first one to incorporate the star rankings, which I don't know that you really gain too much from beating all the cups and star rankings and stuff like that, because I think the main objective is at least, you know, just to get him in first place, and then if you get a star ranking, then, you know, that's fine. You just really, you know, I don't think, maybe you get like an alternate title screen or something, but I don't think there's any secret unlockables, because as far as unlockables go in this game, I mean, it's just, you know, the last cup, which is the special cup, and then bonus, which is, I guess we'll find out later into the playthrough, which lets you play the classic SNES tracks in this game, which is pretty neat at the time. It's the first time this game, you know, Mario Kart game had retro tracks, and this game literally had the full-on, what's it called, entirety of Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart's tracks, which in theory, you know, you could have used the excuse saying, oh, well, if that's the case, that they're all here, then, like, I mean, at that point, why didn't any of them get remade? Because, you know, for a while, Nintendo was doing that whole thing where, you know, they only re-released tracks, like, one time, and then wouldn't, you know, re-release them a second time, unless it's, like, you know, DLC, I guess, now. But before, that was, like, the strict rule, I guess, with the whole Kart 8 DLC, the original DLC, and then also the deluxe DLC, they kind of changed it up there, which, you know, is what it is, I guess, at this point. But yeah, they had changed it up, and they started bringing back tracks that had already been brought back, and, you know, then, you know, kind of sucked for those people who were hoping for tracks that have never been brought back, you know, like myself, who hopes that every Mario Kart track gets brought back at some point, you know, especially since this is one of my favorite series of all time, so it's like, I would prefer to that be the case, but of course, you know, who knows how it'll go forward. I don't think we're going to get a new Mario Kart on Switch. I think at this point, they're probably just going to save the next Mario Kart for the sequel to the Switch, but, you know, it sucks we didn't get a completely original one, you know, instead we got a enhanced version of the original, but it is what it is, or the original Mario Kart 8 that came out on Wii U, and, you know, despite the fact that it was a Wii U game, it sold even better than it did on Switch, even though the Wii version had already sold a good bit. So, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of those people who had it on Wii U and then ended up getting a Switch ended up upgrading, like myself. But anyway, I did get off topic, but as far as like the star ranking thing, that's what I was talking about before. Got on the tangent. So apparently the star ranking in this game, you know, unlike future games, this one actually is heavily dependent on which character you end up, you know, picking or whatnot. So apparently there's like a, which this has been a known fact for years, I guess, but it's been getting more attention recently with a bunch of like YouTubers coming out about it. But apparently you have to use like some of the harder to use characters like Bowser to, I guess, have a better shot at getting a star ranking, because if you use like lower tier characters, then, you know, or I guess easy tier, you know, like Yoshi and stuff like that, Peach, like the light characters that have really good acceleration, then you don't get as much points, which kind of sucks, because if you're trying to actually go for that completion route of getting a high star ranking, which I actually don't know if this game has all 3 star rankings. I know it has at least one. Let's see what we got here, because I got a near perfect score, I'd say. But let's see what it gives me. You're giving me a 2-star ranking, so not sure how I could have gotten a better one. Maybe I would have had to, what's it called, get better times, but or maybe that is the high one, I don't know. I don't know too much, but again, I don't think you really get much, unless it's like Mario Kart DS / Wii, where it actually shows off when you play like multiplayer or something. It'll like show next to your name or whatever. But in a game like this, you know, where, what do you call it? Also, this Mario Circuit from, that also got remade on Kart 8 Deluxe, funny enough. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so that's it. Unless you really gain something from the 3-star ranking, but in this game it doesn't really matter, because the only way you can play this is either by yourself or with like one other person. So it's not like it has like a mass online multiplayer thing. At least like the DS, the Wii one, and even 7 had like the whole thing where you can actually show it off in your name. Not sure why it never got brought back on what's it called, on Kart 8 / Kart 8 Deluxe. I have a 3-star ranking on both of those games and never updated it to have it. I don't know if maybe after the expansion pass finishes coming out, maybe, you know, if you manage to get it on all the courses, maybe they'll add it as a feature, because at this point, the expansion pass, I'm actually, you know, even more hyped for than I was before, because they actually, you know, went ahead and did one of the things that I, you know, kind of thought was going to be a good idea to suggest, which is, what do you call it, them to actually, what's it called, add, characters, you know, which is really neat, you know, bonus. They should have been doing that from the start, mind you, but hey, you know, maybe we might still get more, you know, going forward. Also, this one's in deluxe as well. They brought this back in the expansion pass, Blue Lake, but what do you call it? Like more characters. Maybe, you know, at the very least one per, what's it called, pack or a wave or whatnot. You know, hopefully it's not just a one-off thing with Birdo, but you know, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm pumped for. But you know, the other things I suggested also were more battle tracks, which and also could theoretically still happen. You know, if they did something like that with the characters, maybe you'll get battle tracks, at least one. Not doing too hot here. I'll try not to use what do you call it, the reverse feature or save states if I don't have to, but I mean, I probably will for the later tracks, just because I did play this game on, I think it was emulator slash ambassador program on 3DS, and I remember I got really close to 100%ing this game, but it was just like, once it got to like, you know, later CCs, that's when it started becoming more annoying, and like, way more, what's it called, difficult to do. And you know, like I said, it doesn't help that I'm not that good at this game, so you know, that was also not in my favor. And of course there was no save states that I could use. I mean, in the emulator one, at least you think it would have been, but it was emulation on the virtual Wii, you know, so I wasn't really getting any out of that, you know, from the homebrew channel and whatnot. And then on the ambassador program, they never had what's it called, save states on 3DS Game Boy Advance games, so there was that. Here, I've been finally given the option. I think this game was also available on Wii U through the eShop, which would have given me that ability, but it doesn't give you the reverse feature though, so I still would have had to, you know, relied on save states before a race or something. Here, in theory, I could actually, you know, what's it called, go in reverse if I do like a really bad mess up, although since it's a racing game, it's probably not going to work too well anyway, so I probably won't even use that, to be honest, unless like I mess up really bad and I really just want to start over the race and I didn't save state before or something like that. But we'll try not to use it either way, you know, as long as we get first place, that's the main thing. I'm not, again, worried about star ranking or anything like that. It's more so just, let me see if I can unlock everything, you know, that there is to unlock, the main stuff, you know, all the cups, all the CCs, all that stuff. Which I think this game has a mirror mode, if I'm not mistaken. Mirror mode was already a thing by this Mario Kart, at least it was in Kart 64, which came out before. Again, never 100% at this game, so for all I know, there is and there isn't one, so beats me. But regardless, we're going to find out eventually through this playthrough once I, you know, again, attempt to do all that. That's Cheese Land, which also got brought back in Mario Kart 8. In the original Mario Kart 8 release as DLC, and then of course Deluxe, it was just already in the game. Pretty different from the what's it called, Deluxe integration, which actually change a lot of things, you know. Nice, and cleared that, so that's where you were. We got Flower Cup, Bowser Castle 2. This one did get brought back in Mario Kart DS. So, I mean, I'd say by this point, actually most of the Mario Kart GBA tracks have been brought back to some extent. I think, obviously, there's a few niche ones here and there that have never been brought back, but funny enough, we're actually getting a GBA track on the Wave 4, which I think is one of the jungle levels or whatnot. I don't think it was the one I had played on the Flower Mushroom Cup. I think it's the Volcano one, but actually I could be wrong, to be honest. And I also thought they would bring back the Sunset one. I think it's like Sunset Wilds or something like that, because if we're going off of the whole Mario Kart Tour tracks being brought back, then in theory that would have gotten brought back too. Alright, we'll see. I mean, it still could come back. I don't know. I'm actually curious if that supposed leak of all the what's it called, tracks that were gonna come to the expansion pass, you know, all came to fruition, because I feel like for the most part it did, but for, you know, maybe, you know, some things that were expected to come back didn't, because I thought Sunset Wilds was supposed to come back by now. Like, I'm pretty sure it got predicted either the last wave or this wave. It still hasn't come back. So maybe they at least got the game that it's from correct, but maybe not the actual, what's it called, exact track, you know, so who knows. Plus they also could have changed their mind for all we know. Let's go. Yeah, that's something I got A, but I mean, I did fall off the track and not staying first the whole time, which could be another factor too. At least that's a factor that plays in like Mario Kart DS, for example. And now we go to Lightning Cup, Luigi Circuit, which got brought back in Mario Kart DS. Also did feature this game on one of my streams, actually, so there was a stream I did, I want to say at this point it's already been a couple of weeks now, where I played some GBA games online with Chris and Ricky on separate, you know, streams, of course, because obviously there's only 2 players available. Well, actually, gosh, this game supports 4 players, but what's it called? We played separately, but on the same day, ironically. But the point is, we played this, and we played the multiplayer, which works pretty seamlessly on what do you call it, with the Switch Online thing, which again has, you know, me and a lot of other people's hopes up with what's to come. You know, if multiplayer works as seamless as it does, could we be seeing, you know, what do you call the Pokemon games, which is what I'm hyped for, if we can get that with, you know, home support. Yeah, so as far as people that I knew growing up that had this game, pretty sure main to Chris, who I know had this game on his GBA, and then of course my cousin Alex, or not cousin Alex, cousin Gabriel, who had a lot of these GBA games that I've actually done playthroughs of recently. So yeah, he had this game, and I remember I played it one time, and I thought it was pretty tough, which I still think is a tough game, don't get me wrong. But I played it at his house, and then also when he brought his Game Boy Advance places, also Sky Garden, got brought back on Mario Kart DS and Deluxe. And so I remember played it on his GBA a couple times. I mean, it was still a Mario Kart on handheld, so I still thought it was, you know, really cool. The concept of it is just, obviously we didn't get an advanced enough Mario Kart, you know, to the standards of like a console game until DS, and 7 if you wanted to be like practically console graphics, you know. Yeah, so I mean, it's still pretty cool. And so yeah, I mean, from the few times I played with it, I mean, I remember he let me play a couple times, and what's it called? And I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was, but you know, again, never grew up with it. I'm sure if I would have had the game, you know, like, and played and stuff like that, I'm sure I would have grown to have enjoyed this game a bit more than I ended up doing. But again, this was one of those Mario Karts that I didn't have growing up, so you know, I'd say, like I said, when I did officially own it was when I was already in high school with the whole 3DS Ambassador program, so yeah. It's pretty cool with that backwards red shell trick. I don't know if that works in the original Mario Kart, but I know it never came back though, because that's kind of a cheap thing to just put a red shell and then wait for someone to come back. Yeah, this cheap island. This one has not been brought back at all that I'm aware of. I don't even think it's been on tour yet. So this is another track that could probably use some love either. I mean, I don't know at this point, because again, I'm pretty sure Sunset Wilds will be the last Mario Kart GBA track or whatnot. Could be wrong, of course, but we might not get this track until potentially the next Mario Kart game, if they decide to bring this one. And I remember playing like a remake of this on Mario Kart Wii that's, you know, people had made on that Mario Kart Revolution mod or whatnot. I remember I played the track that way as well, and of course it's a lot easier on there because, you know, the Mario Kart Wii and or whatnot. This is, being that this is one of the older Mario Karts or whatnot, this is also one of those ones that the coins were pretty prevalent in. You know, obviously they brought it back with Part 7 and Part 8, but before, for a little while, we hadn't had them, and of course they bring the benefit of the more you have, the faster you go, kind of thing. If you don't have any, then you're pretty much, you know, screwed and have to get more. Although at least in this game, it wasn't an item, so you weren't screwed over by getting it sometimes. That's the Sunset Wilds one I was talking about. I think this one's coming to Deluxe at some point, maybe as the last track, and then what do you call it? Of course, this one also has never been brought back, so it'll be one of those new expansion pass editions, but we'll see. But yeah, so I mean, coins play a pretty important part in this game, the original, and what's it called? What's it called? And then 7 and Deluxe, although in 7 and Deluxe was when they shortened the limit to 10. This game, not sure if it even has a limit, to be honest. Maybe it does, but I assume it's probably like 30, or maybe it's the amount of coins that are actually on the, what's it called, track or something. Assuming you don't get hit by anything to have to lose some of those, because once you lose coins, obviously you can't pick them up like you can in the later games. You know, they're just lost for good. I guess you can get some more. Well, I got 32, so that's definitely enough limit. Maybe 50. Or as many as the track will allow. Who knows? Yeah, being this will be like my traditional playthrough streams. This one, of course, limit would be the 2-hour mark. I will try to stream. What's it called? Tiny Tina's tomorrow, seeing that I haven't streamed it in a minute. But we'll see how I am with time. Should be able to, in theory. Yuriko, unfortunately, will not be getting on until later in the week because he's got his new job and hours are a little off right now. But next we got Snowland from the start of this one. Also got brought back in the expansion pass. And had never been brought back up until this point, so it was great to see. Music on this deluxe version is also really good too, as well as the original. track's definitely pretty slippery though, that's right. They got Ribbon Road, which also got brought back in Mario Kart 8, but it's the regular one as the first generation DLC. Of course, that track's all over the place. Being on Mario Kart 8, whereas on here it's just a standard 2D track. Yeah, let's Actually, she got hit by my green shell right there. It was kind of annoying. Next, we got Yoshi's Desert, which has not been brought back in any form that I'm aware of. So one of those, I guess, gem ones that haven't been brought back at all. You get for freaking rubber banding you. Bowser Chasm 3. This one actually got brought back on Mario Kart Wii. Can't make it at the end. Survive that. Next we got, of course, the award ceremony. How could I forget? Yeah, even the award ceremonies are something to be originals. Actually getting access to the special cup, which we didn't get before. First, we got Lakeside Park. I'm pretty sure this one's the one that's getting brought back to Lux. I'll have to wait for him. We start getting into the hardest tracks and getting over that shot. I don't want to accidentally go too far in there, or else we won't make the jump. I don't know if you can shortcut that, probably. Well, you gotta be careful on this track. It's also one of those ones where there's a event in the background, which in this case is the volcano erupting, that will drop fireballs. So it's almost like the one course from Mario Kart Wii that also rains down lava. Dry desert or whatnot. I forgot the name, but it's that one with where the level's constantly falling apart and whatnot. I don't know why I can't remember it, but it's basically like that track. Which Sunset Lots kind of has something going for it too, with the what's it called? Sunset, I guess, in the background. Curious, probably on a different CC, but you should be able to. What's it called? You should be able to. What do you call it? Jump that. And then possibly get a shortcut out of it. But since this is 50, you don't really go too fast. And now we got Broken Pier. Also has never been brought back before as a Mario Kart track. That's the thing with the, I guess, ghost levels of this game, is they're very similar to the SNES Ghost Valley tracks. So it's like, which even with those, I think they've only ever brought back one of the tracks, which was the second one from the SNES one on Mario Kart Wii. But, what's it called? They don't really bring back too many of them, because they're all very, you know, similar to each other. And at least the one that finally got brought back was, Blue Lake on Expansion Pass, and that one actually changed it up quite dramatically, but that's only because now Mario Kart tracks are been changing up dramatically as opposed to being carbon copies of their original, which is good and bad depending on the way you look at it. I'm okay with it because it brings new life to those tracks. You know, I'm more so just glad that they're even being brought back in the first place, because, you know, what's it called? Like I said, there's a lot of Mario Kart tracks that have potential that have never been brought back, and, you know, and whether they get brought back exactly the same, or, you know, just being brought back in general, I'm okay with it, you know, so, let's go. Let's see what else can I do. I guess the time length, if I had to guess, this series right here, the Mario Kart Super Circuit, looks like I'm doing a CC per hour, so there being 4, possibly, I'm assuming there's 4, then we should be, what do we call it, be finishing this in 4 parts, because there's also the retro tracks too, which I'll have to do as well, so yeah, 4-part stream, not bad. I still have that Mario in front of me in the star, it's very weird. But this is Bowser's Castle 4, which also has never been brought back. On that note, with Bowser's Castles though, the SNES ones never got brought back in any fashion. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that they're very similar to the Bowser's Castles on GBA, because pretty much all of those have been brought back, but what do you call it? Yeah, for some reason they don't bring back the what's it called? The SNES ones. They've never brought back any of them for some reason. Another thing to keep note of, which I've been noticing as well, is for some weird reason, when they've made a number 4 version of a track, like SNES Mario Circuit 4, this Bowser Castle 4, well, from the SNES, but again, they never brought back any of those, so we'll give that one a pass, I guess. But and then this Bowser's Castle, none of them have ever been brought back for some weird reason. I don't know why. I mean, I can predict why, which is probably because they're all the longest iterations of those, you know, track series, I guess. But you know, they're also the most, you know, fleshed out. So for some, I don't know why they just refuse to bring those particular ones back. I don't know, it's because they think it's too difficult or it's too long. But I mean, we've already seen, especially now in modern Mario Kart games, where they tend to, what's it called? If the track's too long, just, you know, what's it called? Make it a 2-lap track, or a, you know, one lap track or whatnot. Not sure why they don't do it anymore, or why they haven't done it, but it's also GBA Rainbow Road. This one has never been brought back either, which, I mean, for a while, Rainbow Roads weren't being brought back at all. And a lot of people thought that Rainbow Roads getting brought back was not really part of, I guess, the tradition, but you know, bringing back tracks. But you know, lo and behold, the first one we got was SNES. What's it called? Rainbow Road getting brought back. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough speed for this. Yeah, we're just gonna do it the old fashioned way. Also the craziest Rainbow Road when it comes to shortcuts, because you could pull off some pretty crazy stuff in this one, but it's because of the fact that there's no real guardrails anywhere. Yeah, that's just so that's why this one has those out there shortcuts, but it's something the what's it called? Original one couldn't really pull off, because that one, you know, it's a pretty straightforward course, but this one seems to have all these, you know, turns and stuff like that. So yeah, right there I almost pulled off that slick shortcut. But I just leave it there. It's also one of the toughest Rainbow Roads because of the way it's laid out. Again, the original will probably always be the toughest in the original, because of course they've made it easier with the remakes or whatnot, but almost went off the perfect shortcut right there, which would have involved the 3 ramps. Hey, you know, I'll take it. It's the only Mario Kart where I really would use this handicap right here with the freaking save states and backwards race moments, reverse. I guess if there's no mirror mode, then I guess it'll be a three-parter series, but I mean, there's no, yeah, we'll see. There might still be one. But yeah, that was 50cc complete, so I guess we can move on to 100. Although, I guess first we gotta sit through this. Mario Kart Super Circuit style. Actually, no, we'll skip this because we could always view this at the end. Let's figure it out. 100. And of course, with every case of 100cc, special cup will always be locked until you beat all the other ones. Harder CPUs, faster speed. Let's see how this works now. You probably won't start seeing the difficulty curve just yet, but once we get to 150, that's when it'll go all out. Now this one, I forgot to mention, this one got brought back on Mario Kart DS as well, if I'm not mistaken. And now we move on to Shy Guy Beach. As much coins as we can here. Donkey Kong's really rubber banding me now. Isn't as bad what's it called, the last CC, but this one is definitely going all out. Also, one thing that was pretty prevalent in the early Mario Karts was that the character always seemed to have a rival. Should be the one that would specifically target you and usually get like special perks and, you know, try to follow you in second place, you know, if you were in first most of the time and take first when you weren't. I know it was the case in the original for sure. This game and Kart 64, I'm not sure about. I think Kart 64 might have had it for the characters, but what's it called? I'm not 100% sure on that, so I don't hold my word to that. But I have to be careful with these turns too now that I have more speed. I really do have to accurately drift here and there, or else I'll screw myself over. Also, blue shells are not as common in this game, as well as I guess easier to dodge, because as we saw right there, I just had to pick up enough speed and it stopped following me. But if I would have slowed down, I'm pretty sure it would have gotten me. Once I got into a boost ramp, I was like, yeah, but it did destroy all my items, which was kind of crazy. So it took away my defenses before trying to launch at me, which is kind of insane. Rogers Castle 1. This one was also, well, this one actually got brought back in Kart 7 and Tour. And I think it was also one of the ones that was possibly rumored to come to the booster course, which I was kind of against because we've already seen this one. You know, I like getting those original tracks in here, but so we'll see. Still got 2 more packs to come out after 4. I remember the Mario Kart 7 version of this track added the hand grinding section right before here. Nice. Alright, well there's Mushroom Cup on 100 cc. Nice. Flower cup again. So yeah, I'd say like probably a total of like maybe 4 tracks in this game have not been brought back, which is a pretty good count when you think about it, because this also, like, up to this point, also had the most, I guess, original tracks added to the game, you know, unlike, what's it called, I guess the original, which had, you know, the 4 cups, but it had 5 courses on each, you know, cup. This game went back to the traditional 4 instead of doing the 5, but then added that extra cup, I guess, to compensate, bringing back all the SNES courses and still having, you know, all of them be available despite changing the limit of tracks in the cup to 4, so... Oh, here you freak. Oh, it's still hitting, let's go. Yeah, so, tried the most because I think the Mario Kart 64 was 4 tracks for 4 cups, and it was like that for a while for new courses. It still technically is the standard if you think about it, because Mario Kart 64 only had 4, Double Dash only had 4. DS brought back the retro tracks, but as far as original tracks, it only had 4. Wii 7 and even 8 only had 4. Mind you, Deluxe doesn't count as having more because of the fact that the DLC cups were part of the original Mario Kart 8. So, featuring when you count the DLC. So. Basically sums that up to, that's still being the standard, I'm pretty sure, until maybe the next Mario Kart if it decides to start changing things up again. Which it could, I don't put it past them at this point. But hey, the more tracks the merrier, so I'm not against it. That's one of those things that, pretty much brings life to every Mario Kart game is the more tracks. Because after a while, doing the same tracks over and over again, you played them to, their limit, so that's why Kart 8 and Kart 8 Deluxe added so much more replayability with, the fact that they added new cups and stuff like that. But sure, people can give the argument, hey, you shouldn't have to pay for others, cups that in theory should have been there from the start to make a full game, but it's not like the game itself was lacking without them. You could still, original Mario Kart 8 was, I guess, fine, without the DLC. You still had a good bit of courses, you still be able to, play online and stuff and enjoy them without having to, resort to buying the DLC. And then, of course, Deluxe already gave you that DLC for Mario Kart 8, so you already had even more tracks than are normally available in most modern Mario Karts up to that point, which again was the standard, 32. So Kart 8 broke that mold with the DLC, and Deluxe made it, there from the start without having to buy anything else. So let's be real here. It's good marketing, it's good variety. But yeah, if you count all the ones in this game, though, obviously it's more than 32. It's, 40 tracks in this game, because of the addition of the, retros having their own slot with the same line of cups, which is 5 cups with 4 tracks each. That number hasn't been beaten until, the advent of, Mario Kart 8's DLC, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe starting tracks. That started out with 48. So now we're gonna have over 60 thanks to the, DLC. You stop bumping into me. Keep draining my phones. Nice. Roger's Castle too. shaft me. I don't know. Nice. Going through these tracks just fine. With slight hiccups here and there, but nothing a little rewind can't fix. Okay, how did Peach still beat Donkey Kong? I just shafted her with a banana peel and Donkey Kong was clearly catching him. Banding at its finest. River City Grill. What in the world kind of games are you playing now? I keep mistaking the ZL button for the item button because that's what I use for Mario Party Deluxe. So it's probably gonna end up throwing me off when I what's it called? Play. What do you call it? The Deluxe DLC, which comes out supposedly. Well, it comes out. Yeah, supposedly either way. Thursday, but you know. They did announce that it would be releasing in Japan at like a certain time, which if they got the, you know, the equivalent to over here in the US would be, what do you call it, right around 8 p.m. tomorrow, technically, at the earliest, so I might be streaming some Deluxe tomorrow as well. I should be expecting that. That would be some great work, streaming that again. Wait for... Upper hand on these CPUs, that's pretty lame. Not sure how me jumping over that bridge dodged it, but it dodged it. But as far as other Mario Karts have gotten the same treatment of almost all their tracks being brought back, I mean, obviously it also comes with when that Mario Kart got released, so obviously, Mario Kart, Wii tracks, for example, or even Mario Kart 7 being technically the most recent before 8, what's it called? Those games, I mean, you know, the most recent Mario Kart was their first opportunity, or second opportunity in the case of Wii, to get tracks to get brought back. So obviously there's the lowest ones, although, you know, when you notice, most recent Mario Karts tend to have, what's it called, courses, retro courses from like the most, I guess, most recent previous Mario Kart, you know, if that makes any sense. So, of course, what do you call it, what's it called, when you saw the case of DS and Wii, you saw a lot of GameCube and 64 tracks, because those were still more so recent. And so, these older Mario Kart games start, you know, like Super Mario Kart, Super Circuit, you start noticing the trend with those, like having even less tracks being remade because now they're not as recent of a Mario Kart. So if you saw the SNES, only if it wasn't for Booster Course, we literally only would have had Donut Plains as the only SNES track to have been brought back. Which, I mean, mind you, it's a good track. What's it called? Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those cases where, what's it called? If it wasn't for Expansion Pass, we would have gotten more tracks being brought back, which Mario Circuit 3 had already been brought back, so I don't know why they didn't bring back Mario Circuit 4, but it's besides the point. But then we got a couple other SNES tracks get brought back thanks to, you know, which will be getting brought back, I think, with Expansion Pass. So it's like, you know, they're making the effort. I appreciate it. I think Vanilla Lake was another rumored one that people thought. I'm hoping for it because Vanilla Lake has never been brought back in any Mario Kart. Any of them. There's 2 Vanilla Lakes, but neither one have been brought back. Koopa Beaches, I think for the most part have gotten brought back, I'm pretty sure. I think maybe the original one hasn't. What's it called? I'm trying to think of another one. Starcraft. See, now we're moving even faster with these clubs. But yeah, pretty sure that one would work better. And then, again, the Bowser Castles, none of them have been brought back, so from the SNES. Every Mario Circuit except for 4 has been brought back, and then I don't think all the versions of Donut Plains have been brought back. I think there's still one missing that wasn't brought back. Might have been the final Donut Plains, Donut Plains 4, which would add to my theory, of course. Because Donut Plains A3 wasn't the hardest one. There was a Donut Plains 4, I'm pretty sure, which was the definitive one. Or maybe it might have been 2, and that one didn't get brought back. But I think, yeah, Donut Plains 1 was in DS, so that one actually had already gotten back. But I don't think 2, or if there's a 4, it hasn't been brought back. Stay right over with that, please. Thank you. Some interesting history about this game too that I found out a couple months back was that there was originally someone else who like had helped or was going to help Nintendo develop another Mario Kart for GBA, which would have been more of a true 3D experience as opposed to what we ended up getting, but of course that never came to fruition because I guess Nintendo didn't want someone else to make a Mario Kart game for them, which I guess is understandable. They usually are pretty picky with who they let, you know, what's it called, manage some of their franchises, especially their hit ones, you know. They don't just let anyone make games for them. Took a couple of rewinds, but just to make it work. We got a little bit of we'll take it on back on. So I don't know why, but I just randomly thought of this funny story involving Mario Kart. Just, I don't know, spontaneously came in my head when I was thinking of Mario Kart, because I was thinking back to school, and like I never seen anyone play this Mario Kart, and they always played the DS one, because that was a big hit when I was in elementary or whatnot, and whenever we have like a game day or something, where people could bring their, you know, console or I mean their handheld to school. It would be Mario Kart DS. It was never saw anyone bring this. I guess this came out to I guess early in me being in elementary, so it wasn't as common for people to have had this, I guess. But, what's it called? Yeah, so, the reason why I bring that up is because I remember one time, this actually happened back in, like, 3rd grade, I want to say. 3rd or 2nd grade. Probably 3rd, actually. That was when I was already into gaming. I remember I went into a Circuit City, it's the one near Mall of Georgia, back in the day, and I remember they had, like, the demo for Mario Kart DS on display, and next to it they had, like, I guess pamphlets or whatnot for the game, you know, or whatnot, like, on the display, and they were, like, one of those, like, you can grab and, what's it called, obviously people, you know, who were interested in the game wanted to know more details, they would, what's it called, take one, you know, find out what the game's got to offer and stuff like that, and, you know, and know whether they should buy it or not. And so, I remember specifically that when I was in elementary, around that time, when I had tried that demo or whatnot, the same day, when I was at Circuit City, I remember I had grabbed more than one of those pamphlets, and when I mean more than one, I probably grabbed the entire stack they had, because I thought, I was like, oh, these are free, you know, everyone could take their own price on them, so I grabbed a bunch of them, and I remember, it's pretty funny, I ended up bringing all those to school, and I guess there was like a thing like in class where like, the teacher was asking if there's anyone that had to like share with the whole class, and like I stood up and I was like, oh, I got these, and I had all the pamphlets. So I literally handed everyone in my 3rd grade class a pamphlet of Mario Kart DS, you know, for them, you know, to, what's it called, take with them, I guess. And, you know, even though obviously they're all in 3rd grade, so it's not like they themselves might have bought the game, it's probably just like, you know, what's it called, their parents or whatnot. But despite that though, I gave them all the pamphlet, and so what was funny is that pretty sure I probably gave Nintendo some free sales of the game because I'm pretty sure a lot of those kids probably did see the pamphlet, thought the game was cool, and probably ended up getting it for the DS or whatnot, showing their parents. So there you go, Nintendo. I helped advertise your game when I was in freaking elementary school, and I freaking took pamphlets and gave them to everyone in class. So mind you, I have no proof that everyone in class got the game. I mean, I'm sure some of them did, you know, without a doubt, and some of them were probably going to get it anyway, but I'm sure I probably helped plant the seed for most of those guys eventually getting the game, you know. And I don't think a lot of them were gamers. I do know that, you know, I'd say half the class probably played video games or whatnot, so they probably didn't never end up getting the game, or, you know, what's it called, a DS or something. But point is, because that pamphlet was specifically about Mario Kart DS, so but yeah, point is, Nintendo, I helped you free advertisement back in the day as a kid in 3rd grade, so maybe some loyalties are in place. Heck, I'm streaming your game, so I mean that should already be free advertisement as it is, but as we know, unfortunately, Nintendo, how they were with people playing their games on the internet back in the day, you know, they would what's it called, want them to get royalties from you playing their games and showing footage of it, which is pretty dumb of them. And luckily they're not really, what's it called, they don't really, I guess, care as much, or they don't even have that membership or loyalty program, I guess, with them, where you play their games and then they take some of your ad revenue or whatever. I don't think it's a thing anymore, but regardless, I gave him free advertising. I feel like I deserve some, you know, some pat on the back at least or something for that. You know, it's real here, Nintendo. I hope to advertise your games, so probably got you like some sales, so it's real here. That was the DS one. That was the best-selling Mario Kart game up until Wii and Deluxe shot it out of the water. I still think it's one of the best-selling games on the DS, actually. It was the best-selling game on the DS. So. But yeah, I remember in class though, when we had the, I guess, days where we could bring our like handheld or whatnot. That was the go-to game. I remember that and Pokemon, of course, but Pokemon more so for the cards. But yeah, Mario Kart though, I remember like every time we had a game day, which was almost every Friday, I think, like for a good while, we would play Mario Kart DS. And you know, I didn't have a DS at the time. I usually ended up bringing my sister's, and she would let me borrow it. It's 9 times out of 10 I'd bring my Advance, but sometimes I remember the kids, you know, would let me join in. Mind you, in that class, I think, you know, at least 7 to 8 people actually had the game, so usually they had like full lobbies, you know, for Mario Kart DS, or near full lobbies. But I remember I beat him a couple times, and I beat him with Shy Guy too, with the DS download thing. I didn't, you know, have the actual, you know, thing enabled where I could use more characters or whatnot, but of course, most people back then, actually, when you think about it, I'm pretty sure only like 2 of the actual kids had the game, and then the rest just DS download mooched off of it, you know, or maybe that, you know, since not much people, you know, who didn't own the game weren't able to really, like, I guess, take advantage of that whole multi-black thing because, you know, everyone had to own the game to have access to all the courses available, so we only had access to the bare minimum, which was Mushroom and Shell Cup. Which, I mean, despite that though, everyone seemed to play a good bit of it, you know. I remember back in the day, like it was we all played it and enjoyed it for what it was, you know, and so it sucks I never got to, like, you know, bring in my console, because I remember around that time I was playing Double Dash, and I was doing pretty good in Double Dash, so I feel like if I would have challenged them in Double Dash, I probably would have kicked all their butts, but DS, obviously going back up to it now, I could probably have beaten them at the skill level then. Who knows if any of them actually ended up becoming like full-on gamers like myself, you know. Probably just a fad, but hey, you know, at least I can say I shared a kind of gaming experience with my classmates back in the day, you know, that obviously I wouldn't be able to experience again nowadays because I'm not in school anymore, but also these freaks that they're freaking bumping into me are kind of unreal. It's literally just to drain my coins. It's a good thing that we brought back that freaking feature of draining coins by hitting people. It's kind of ridiculous. Gosh, every outcome is terrible. I should just go with that first outcome. It wouldn't have been as bad. It's another thing, why did the freak really target me with the star on purpose? Like, I know they're targeting me on purpose. They should slow down just so I can get hit by it. Kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I slowed down just so I could attack you free. Take it. Alright, here's the real challenge right here. Well, skipping this now. We start at 150cc here. She gets to see most of the people across the finish line. Unlike before. playing Scarlet. Nice. This one, see, you can't mess up. If you mess up, especially on the last lap, you're pretty much finished for the race. So I'll definitely use the rewind feature a good bit here. I guess at the rate I'm going now, I'll probably do one more cup after this, which already put me like pretty good pace for probably finish the whole series in 3 streams at this point. About 4, but who knows, it's the what's it called? 150 seems to be breezing by faster than I had anticipated than the top point, I should be able to finish, what's it called, faster. Take that L just because I kind of rewind earlier and I'm still going to win the cup. That is what it is. As long as I win the cup, I'm very sure I stay playing. This game is not forgiving, especially in this last CC. So. Unforgiving indeed. Also sounds like a Deoxys theme that from being common in the Ruby Sapphire Emerald Fire Leaf Green event. Yeah, instrumental or something for that segment of the song right there. Cool. Kind of a weird angle that I had right there when I spun out and then use this thing. Alright, last track of the stream. This fudge system. Since I got all first place, I could pretty much pick an L on this one and still be good. I have to with all these idiots bumping into me on purpose. Take away my phone. a great little end right there. Alright, so that's going to be it for tonight's stream, guys. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Be sure to leave a like, comment, share the stream, let me know how I did. As always, God bless. Have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you guys next time. Alrighty, guys, take care. I'll see you on the next Super Circus stream / Tiny Tina / Party Deluxe Waveform.